Everybody's truth is going to be unique. Everybody's path in life is going to be unique, and there's not one way to live a life. In my personal experience, it's very hard for me to feel happiness or a sense of contentment when I'm trying to control the world around me or myself. When I'm controlling how I ought to be or how much I should say, or wanting to control the circumstances that I'm going through or the environment or the people or whatever, I'm not content. I want something to be different. I have a desire or a need or an insatiability when I'm in that place, and so it's not a place to rest. You know, we grew up in a world where there's all kinds of things we're taught to learn, to be, to want, to do, and we participate in that, you know, based on the culture we're raised in, our education, what we see to be true in the world, and that's kind of how we develop when we're young. And we are all able at a point in our lives to recognize that that maybe isn't true for us, the way that we've been living or the way that we've been taught to be or what to want and what to do. And the moment we realize that life we've been living might not be authentic, we have choice to get really clear on like why we've been living the way we've been living, why we've been believing the things we've been believing, and what we actually deem to be true. When I surrender control and I am present with what is, which is not always easy, especially if you're presented with something that's uncomfortable, then ease can flow in. Surrender is a very active process. So is forgiveness, it's not passive. And so in those moments, like with Sthira Sukha, effort ease, it's like my efforting comes from my willingness to engage so fully in the moment that I can then find the ease and the surrender of like letting go and just seeing and being curious and open and letting myself feel and being embodied in the moment of like, okay, these things are happening, this conversation's happening, this experience is occurring in front of me. What am I feeling? How is it moving through my body? Do I notice that my feet are on the ground? How am I responding? Where am I in the midst of it all? That kind of a way of being, I think, can lend itself to a more content life. Happiness, to me, is on some level fleeting. Like happiness is almost like conditional, that word, because it's happiness and happening, they're very similar words. Like you're happy depending on what's happening, whereas contentment is an ability to be so present in the moment and so non-attached and not seeking to control it, that you can really surrender and be. And then there's another area of contentment that kicks in that's just like, huh, this just is what it is. And it's always changing. So even if I'm feeling grief or sadness or anger, I'm not always going to be feeling this way. If I'm watching something that's confronting or uncomfortable, okay, it's also going to shift in some way. If I'm watching something that's beautiful and wonderful, I'm feeling the most joy I've ever felt, okay, sometime I'll be sad again, right? Like I can't get attached to any of it. Lil Gibran says, your joy is your sorrow unmasked, and the self-same well from which your laughter arises was oftentimes filled with your tears. So I think about that in this context where it's all one thing. it's all it. We can't isolate one experience. We can't shut out one experience without also shutting out others. We can't shut out the pain, the hardship, the confrontation without also simultaneously shutting out joy and presence and vulnerability.